Joining us to discuss whether cutting entitlements or raising taxes better helps the American people. Let's make it a debate on that. Former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney. He's the co-chair of Actum Strategic Advisors. And John Hope Bryant, Operation Hope founder, chairman and CEO. He's also a CNBC contributor. Let's pretend that someone, Mick, actually was. Neither one of these guys are talking about doing it. Do you think we should do something about entitlements, Mick?
Yeah. Joe, watch Andrew's head explode as I say this, and I defend Donald Trump because what he said on your show was absolutely right. Let me explain that very quickly. The budget that we did together in 2018 was the largest reduction in mandatory spending, what some people call entitlements, in history. It just did not touch regular Medicare or regular Social Security. The quickest example I can give, huge cuts to Social Security disability income, not what most people think of when they think of old age retirement within Social Security. So Trump on this point is actually right. There's a lot of entitlement spending reduction you can do before you start having to get to Social Security and Medicare. Those are the big numbers going forward. There's no question. But our argument was always, if you can't cut the easy stuff, do you really think you're going to be able to cut the hard stuff?
John, my head's not exploding, Mick. I'm good for it. And as you know, or may not know,
think we should too.
I think we need to.
I know.
And I think we need to specifically means test. So,
and we don't.
One man's view.
And John, Hope, I know people say it's not an entitlement. It was paid in for your entire life. Do you want? I don't. I think I don't. I probably am doing well enough, John, to not need Social Security, but I remember good old Ace Greenberg. We asked him when he was still around, would you? No way. He had hundreds of millions of dollars. No way he was going to give up Social Security, John.
I mean, look, Mick and I actually agree on the substance here that there are areas where you can tighten up. And waste, if you can find waste, you should cut it. I mean, it's not complicated. If somebody doesn't need it, they should give it up. They shouldn't have to be required to be told that it's not available to them. By the way, if you're living in a 580 credit score neighborhood in America, Joe, whether you're black and white, urban or white rural, you live to 61 years old. 61. If you have a 700 credit score, you live to 81. Operation Hope used Experian data to map every zip code in America by credit score and found there's a 20-year delta. So unfortunately, you don't even make it to Social Security in communities that are struggling and need this the most. Clearly, if there's waste, we should cut it. But also this perception also that the rich are the problem and they're not paying taxes. I know that's a different issue. That's also not true. What I'm saying is both parties are playing a bit of a game with these sort of issues of who we're going to blame and where the problem is. As you know, that it's less than 8 or 10% of entitlements are, we call traditionally the poor. You can't cut yourself out of this. You got to grow yourself out of this. That's really what I'm talking about. Is that we have 4 enemies here, and none of them are us. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. They want our place in the world. It's war. They want us to divide. We've got to come together and grow the economy. Small business creation. This is where it should be invested in. Infrastructure and human capital, AI, new jobs, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, education for all. I mean, we got to grow GDP, and that will, I think, pay for the kind of compassion America should have for those who actually need it.
John,
yes, on means tested.
Okay, I'll go back to Mick for a second, because if you do the math, Nick, we know about non-discretionary versus discretionary, and we saw in the president's budget, if you do the math on that, we're going to stay at like 110% debt to GDP for the near term. In 20, 30 years from now, we're going to be at 130, 140. It's going to be totally unsustainable not because of what John's talking about, education and things we want to spend money on, but because of the debt service and because of these entitlements which we have to pay. So we're not going to be able to do anything else if we don't fix this.
And you have to fix it. Keep in mind, and not a lot of folks are aware of this, of the $34 trillion that we currently have in federal debt right now, not a single dollar of that, not $1, is attributable to Social Security. Social Security has been liquidated. It's not allowed to borrow money anyway. It has not contributed to the debt yet. So all these difficulties we have are without Social Security actually adding to that debt. You're right. We're going to have to do something. Trump knows it. Biden knows it. They're both afraid to talk about it because it's not popular right now. This is sort of the economic version of, or the entitlement version of populism. You know, Biden's message is soak the rich. Trump's message is own the libs. But no one wants to talk about boring things like the actuarial solvency of Social Security. They both know they have to do it, but no one wants to do it because the voters don't care.
And in an aging population, Medicare and Medicaid too. So Trump didn't even say it, and yet immediately he had, you know, the people that run President Biden's Twitter account immediately just, you know, conflated, said that he did say it, and then attacked it. So no one's going to touch that third rail. No one is going to touch that third rail. Even when you don't touch it, you get zapped. John Hope Bryant.
Can we remember? And I need Mick to correct me if he thinks I'm wrong here. Mick is the budget expert.
Oh, he will.
Funny. We've been here before. This was World War II. Literally, the debt to income ratio, the nation's debt to income was about the same coming out of World War II. It was atrocious levels. But America surged into a reinvestment. You had the GI Bill, which gave every, mostly white person, by the way, a mortgage for a new home, education, a job for the future, training for jobs in the future. Call that an entitlement if you want, government subsidy. It created what we now know as a white middle class. Well, a middle class, which benefited mostly Caucasians. By the way, not a racial comment. I'm just simply saying it's the math. It's those who benefited. But the debt ratio was about the same to income. And look at what happened. We understood where we were. We hit the gas on the right things, and we grew right out of it. We are right there. Again, I wouldn't be despaired over where we are. I'd be focused on what's going to get us out of this.